The year is 1961. A couple driving down a lonely New Hampshire road. Unbeknownst to them, this drive is going to change their lives forever. Dun, dun, dun.
Welcome to The Case Files, Episode 1, presented to you by the 7-3 Podcast.
Today, we're going to be deep diving into a topic that I've been waiting on to talk about. Hence all the lights, the tinfoil hats. So today, we're going to be discussing aliens and related stories to that.
Yes, we are going to be discussing aliens, UAPs, and how religion and ancient civilizations have also showed these symbols and these beings from another world, from a different realm.
Yeah.
We will
Some might say extraterrestrial.
extraterrestrial or
Yeah.
interdimensional.
Yeah. I've put together a couple of stories, at least could put together a couple stories. I'm going to try to find some commonalities in all of them and let you guys decide if we're alone in this world or not.
Welcome to
A special edition of the 7-3 Podcast, guys.
the 7-3 zone.
Yeah.
Let's
I like that 7-3 zone. Let's deep dive right into it.
begin.
Okay.
First of all, I'd like to announce that we have our tinfoil hats on to protect us from the EMFs from the U.S. government who are shooting different beams all the time at us.
Yeah.
Big Brother will not catch us.
He will not catch us slipping. Not today.
No, we are
Yeah.
protected.
Yes. Shout out to the YouTuber that showed us how to make these tinfoil hats.
Shout out to you, bro.
Yeah.
You should have showed us how to fold the triangle part, bro.
A little bit better, but it's a whole conspiracy on its own. Maybe the government cut that part out
Maybe.
because he did such a good job of actually making
Because the
something.
way he folded it,
Yeah, this is not how it came out.
Yeah.
All right. So,
Folding a square. No, okay.
all right. So let's get back into it. So the way I have put it out is it's more like a timeline. 3 different stories, some similarities in all of them. I'm going to present it to you, and then you kind of talk about that.
Yes.
Okay. So like I said, the year is 1961. A young couple, Betty and Barney Hill, are driving down a lonely New Hampshire road when their lives changed forever. So their story is that they were abducted by aliens. So the reason I'm really telling this story is like, obviously a lot of people don't believe the abduction part of it, but something that really ties into the next story I want to talk about is, so Betty Hill, which is the female in this situation, after they came out with the story and everything, they went to a therapist who put them under hypnosis to kind of deep dive into what really happened when they were abducted. And what she really put out was she was shown a map by these abductees, aliens, and she described them as the typical aliens that we see in movies: gray, chubby, big heads. And what they showed her was a map from where they came from. So at that time in 1961, she drew it by memory, but nobody really knew anything about it. They just kind of put it aside. But later on, an astronomer actually mapped it together and saw that that galaxy that she was referring to was a Zeta Regalia star system. So that's an important key. So remember that, okay?
So the map she claimed she saw
Yeah.
actually turned out to be true.
It is, yeah. At that point, nobody knew what she was talking about. They're like, okay, maybe she's just kind of exaggerating it, whatever.
So she mapped the star system from her mind.
From her mind, yeah, under hypnosis. I do have to
Before it was
mention
ever
that.
even released, that this existed.
Yeah, exactly. And then in 1971 is when the astronomer put together her visual drawings and actually found that star system. And the Zeta Regalia, I might be pronouncing it incorrectly, but what do you call it? It's actually a real star system close to us. It's like, it's something that it's not something that's just made up. It's actually been proven to exist. And that's a key point into the next story, which is one of the most talked about stories when it comes to like UAPs and like, you know.
And actually verified stories.
Actually, well, verified, but only from his point of view though. You know what I mean? Like there's some real elements to it, but obviously we're going to let the people decide what's true and what's not true, right? So the story is about Bob Lazar. Bob Lazar is somebody, if you follow UFOs or the whole story, he's a known man when it comes to that. He's been on the Joe Rogan podcast multiple times. So he was a scientist that claimed that in 1980s, he was hired by the government to work at Area 51, and his job strictly was to reverse engineer the crafts. So what he describes the craft as like alien craft is actual UFOs. He said that there were multiple ones in multiple bays, and his job was to work on a particular model, which he called the sports model.
Interesting.
What's very interesting about that is that he said that that model that he was working on, there were no visible seams, no rivets or joints, which for 1980s, that's unheard of. Like, the way we make aircraft, there's a bunch
Yes.
of tools and stuff, and like, you have to screw the different parts
It's
together.
welded together.
Exactly. The
But
way
this seemed to be one piece.
one whole piece. So he describes it as, he's like, he went above and beyond and actually said it seemed like something that was grown, not even that something made.
Interesting.
So, but what's amazing is that what he described is what we would call 3D printing now. Because 3D printing, you can make models that have no visible seams or rivets. So now imagine he's explaining something that could have possibly been 3D printed in the 1980s when that's something, a new concept that we're just getting based on. So that's a key point, I think, that gives him some
Credibility.
credibility. Yeah.
Interesting. Let's continue.
Yeah. So like I said, the one he worked on was called the sports model. He also mentioned, this is also another key point, element 115. Okay, so he said element 115, this is in the 1989 when the story released, and he didn't just talk about it on his own, like there was no YouTube and stuff. He actually went on live TV and stuff and talked about his story and has not changed since. So element 115 is what he claims is what the fuel was for the aircraft, and that his job was specifically to reverse engineer that. Interesting story about element 15. In 1980s, nobody gave it any thought because that didn't exist. But in 2003, individual scientists not related to the government actually discovered element 113 in real life.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's another point of credibility.
And this was the fuel used for the spaceship.
Yeah, and the way he describes it is that it wasn't fuel in terms of like how we know it. It's more of element 115 actually disturbs the gravitational fields, and that's how the aircraft hovers. It's not like a propulsional system.
So the element gave it a power.
Exactly. Yeah. Like the element was able to distort time and gravity.
Yeah.
And that's how they kind of move through time and space.
Interesting.
Okay. What he also described is he said that in his debrief, they were told that, because he had a lot of questions when he first got in, but a lot of, obviously, like any other government contract, anybody who's working for the government, they know they don't give you the full story, right? But the debrief that he got where these UFOs came from was from the same star system known as Zeta Battalion. Okay, so we have a story from the 1960s.
The connections are coming.
Exactly, yeah. We're putting the strings together.
Abduction, maps,
Yeah.
confirmations,
Yeah.
spaceship.
Yeah. Like people have obviously the government does a good job of obviously somebody came out in 1980s. The government, we all know that, especially with everything going on in the world, the government's not going to come out and tell us the truth, right?
We can't wait for the government to verify something in order for us to believe it to be true.
Yeah.
We'll get into why later and examples of that, but let's continue.
Yeah. So another thing that really makes him more credit worthy is the fact that he described Area 51 having multiple hangars and everything like that, and he also identified what the security badges look like and what the layout of Area 51 looks like, which in the 2020s aerial footage actually confirms that what he said was real. So another layer of credibility, right? So that's the Bob Lazar story, okay? So then that goes into my next story, which is one of the most proven facts, which is the Tic Tac incident. Have you heard about the Tic Tac incident?
Yes, I have.
Okay, yeah. So if you guys don't know what the Tic Tac incident is, first of all, one of the most compelling evidence, because in the 2020, the Department of Defense, this is the government, officially released the video from the Air Force. It was from the Navy, my bad. It was from the Navy, and they said that what we see in the video is an identified aerial phenomenon. So that's where the UAPs come from, okay? So now this is basically the government saying like, what we see in this video is something that we have no idea what it is, okay?
And when you ask ChatGPT about it, it says, well, it's an unknown object. It can't be confirmed to be an alien or non-human, but it's just considered an unknown or unique.
Yeah, so I'm going to break down what the video is, and you tell me, because what happened in that video is, till this day in 2026, when we're sitting here with our tinfoil hats on, aircrafts nowadays still can't do what this.
And what year was this?
This is in 2004.
2004.
Yeah. So even from then to now, we still don't have aircrafts that did what this phenomenon did.
And mind you, it took them 16 years in order for them to make this public knowledge.
Exactly, yeah. So basically the story goes that In 2004, the Navy had advanced radar systems on its Navy boats, right? And for a few days, they were picking up these weird interferences, right? They saw objects that would be at 80,000 feet and out of nowhere would drop to straight to sea level. Like I said, we have no aircraft till this day that can actually do that. So what they did was they sent out Navy Commander David Fravor and another pilot to investigate. And when they went to go investigate, beside the visual confirmation from the radars, they both, Commander Fravor and the other pilot, confirmed with their own eyes they saw a tic-tac shaped object. The reason they said there's a tic-tac shaped object because it was smooth and white shaped, kind of like a tic-tac, right? And Commander Fraser says that when he tried to approach it, it kind of mimicked their movements, and then out of nowhere, it just zoomed away, like disappeared. And that's something that they're unable to describe till this day. So yeah, so that's 3 different stories. And the reason I brought this one up is because he also mentioned that there was no known propulsion system. If it was an aircraft, at least from what we know, it would leave like, like when jets would go flying by, you see like the little gases behind them from the propulsion system. Nothing. He literally described it, and mind you, this is a Navy commander, somebody that's very well respected. He's also been on the Joe Rogan podcast, and it's one of the most undisputed stories because nobody has been able to prove it wrong otherwise.
Let's think about this, right?
Yeah.
We talked about the Element 115.
Yeah.
We talked about them using different elements to fuel their
Yeah, exactly.
their systems and their ships.
Yeah.
So they're able to move very different from us.
Of course.
Since we use petrol and fuel,
Exactly.
we do not have the instant propelling that
Exactly.
they do.
Yeah.
But because they're using different substances or different elements, maybe even sound or vibration,
Yeah.
they're able to be instantaneous with their actual movements, making them move very different than us.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because ours has gears and engines,
Yeah.
where there is just energy being dispersed.
Exactly. Yeah. And the reason I think this is not something that we can just count out, because the way our technology is progressing now, that's something that can easily be seen,
Yeah.
right? Like the new
Going into Tesla, electric,
exactly.
you're getting instantaneous energy
Exactly.
when you're clicking.
Yeah.
Even if we look back, which we'll do in a different case file, Nikola Tesla, and the idea of energy being within you, around us,
Yeah.
and harnessing that
Exactly.
free energy,
Yeah.
which he may have been killed in.
Yeah, because right now the problem that a lot of people that don't believe in these is because, like, these things do defy our current knowledge of physics, right?
Yes.
But if you look at it, like if somebody in the 1800s and we told them about the aircraft that we have now and what they're possible of,
Or we show them a phone.
exactly, yeah, wouldn't they say the same thing about
is
our
magic.
technology now?
Yes.
Yeah, so just imagine,
A civilization somewhere else.
yeah, like even 1,000 years ahead of it. Look at from 1920s to 2026, the technology that we have now. Now
That's 100
imagine, like,
years.
yeah, that's only 100 years. So now imagine add an extra 1,000 years. So everything we're talking about is easily something that you could see happen, right?
There's definitely, if we are on the full spectrum of believing in aliens,
Yeah.
there's going to be different civilizations and different universes
Yeah.
where they are 1,000 years behind,
Yeah.
1,000 years ahead.
Yeah.
And that whole spectrum of time for them is going to be different than ours.
Of course, yeah.
So now,
So we're gonna combine what I said and kind of give you more proof of other descriptions and stuff. Ali's gonna go a little bit more in history,
what we're going to
break
do
that down.
is why people connect to the idea of aliens
Yeah.
and why it's so fascinating for us. Throughout our existence as humans and throughout your own personal existence, no matter how old you are, the idea of aliens has always been there.
Yeah.
Growing up, it's always been fascinating. It's been in movies. It's been in TV shows.
Yeah.
It's been in cartoons.
Mhm.
If you watch SpongeBob, if you watch Scooby-Doo, if you watch all these different TV shows, there's examples of aliens and civilization
Yeah. Throughout history. Yeah.
throughout history. So the reason people jump to aliens is not just that it's science fiction, but it's pattern recognition over time.
Yeah.
Same way we believe in dinosaurs,
Yeah.
right? There's been trails of belief throughout history. There's been hieroglyphics. There's been technology that we cannot fathom to understand how it was done back then.
Yeah.
The pyramids having precise cutting, having these stones that are so heavy, up to a ton, being formed together to create this monument in the shape of a motherboard or a chip of a PC.
Yeah.
What could it have been for?
And also, to not to cut you off, but like when it comes to the pyramids, like you said, the precision cutting.
Yes.
It's things that we're not even able to do on that scale till this day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So imagine knowing that there has been technology beyond human capability.
Yeah.
We have repeated UAP
Yeah.
reports across decades.
Yeah.
That's just one story.
Yeah.
How many more are there?
Exactly.
And there are more because
lot
many
more.
people are on podcasts,
Yeah.
many previous Air Force generals and
Yeah.
commanders that are speaking about such things. So military and civilian sightings and a lack of public explanation.
Yeah.
So who knows in 16 more years
Yeah.
how much more they're going to tell us.
Yeah. I mean, like you said,
It doesn't mean it's already here.
2020 is the first time they even put out a video and confirmed that, hey, we can't explain this.
Yes.
So a lot of the stories now from the 1980s seem fairly true.
Yes. And this is not born from one
Yeah.
story or incident.
Yeah.
This is an
Ongoing,
accumulation
yeah.
of time and story.
Yeah.
And these stories, as you mentioned, go back, yes, to the 1970s, 80s, where people call kookies and hippies and
Yeah.
crazies.
Yeah.
But now it's more of a reality than ever.
Yeah.
So who knows how much facts they had in those times that may
Yeah.
have been burned down
Of course.
that we don't even have now.
Yeah, and I think what we have working for nowadays is the fact that back in the day they can easily dismiss those people
Yeah.
because the media controlled everything.
Yes.
But now with social media and everybody talking about it, it's kind of hard for them to just push this under the rug because a lot more people are asking questions now.
So let's zoom out.
Yeah.
Right? Let's do a big zoom out on human existence
That was bad.
and what we have seen and what we have been told
Yeah.
and how we depict things.
Yeah.
Because it's not just space.
Yeah.
It's different dimensions.
Yeah.
It's jinns, ghosts,
Yeah.
angels,
Yeah.
all these things that are not in our ray of color
Yeah.
that we can see. They're not in our spectrum of color that we cannot see.
Yeah.
So who knows how much more there is, not only up there, but around us.
Yeah.
When we look at the Bible, there are some quotes in different books, in different verses, that talk about things like this. It is mentioned to be called the chariots of fire. 2 Kings verses 2:11, Elijah. Elijah is taken to heaven by something he can only describe as chariots of fire, where he's taken to heaven and going up.
Yeah.
We have winged beings descending, also written in the Bible. We have sky gods, divine vehicles with wheels on top of wheels.
Yeah.
So we have these grandiose descriptions
Yeah.
of beings, of ships, of vehicles
Yeah.
that may have been used in our history or may have been around at certain times, and also beings that we may not be able to see unless allowed to see,
Of course. Yeah.
unless allowed to be seen
Of course.
in a
yeah.
different plane.
Yeah, because if you think about it, right, if they have the technology to move across the universe at such fast speeds, why would they can easily hide themselves for us, so they're only going to be seen unless they want to be seen, right? 'Cause
Yes.
that's a big debate that people have, like,
Yes.
oh, if aliens are real, how come we haven't seen them or captured them yet?
Yes.
If their technology is so far ahead, you really think our cell phones and stuff, they can't really bypass that? I think they can do that easily.
So ancient civilizations didn't have the word UAP,
yeah,
UFO, and these things. They depicted them through art,
of course.
and the
yeah.
words they used
Yeah.
were
But
words like gods,
Yeah.
messengers, visitors.
Yeah. And I think the moment you described the chariot, to me, in modern terms, I would compare that to a spaceship, right?
Yes.
Because they didn't have spaceships back then. But if I had somebody from like the biblical times and show them a spaceship like NASA has,
Yes.
they would describe that exactly as a chariot of God,
Exactly.
right?
Yes. So now we go into something that can be related to Nephilim. Genesis 6:4. Sons of God and giants on earth, which is the quote. Meaning there must have been a different race or a different type of race on this earth.
Yeah.
There have been conspiracies about in Afghanistan. We went to Afghanistan in the early 2000s about giants, about beings bigger than us being killed and found or found in caves,
Yeah.
as mentioned as cover-ups for the other things that they were doing there that they didn't want us to know.
Yeah.
Some soldiers coming out and saying on different podcasts about these things being true. If we look at the story of David and Goliath, could this also be a representation of that?
Of course.
Of a being that was greater than a human
Yeah.
and was taken out, yes, by a blow from a slingshot of a rock, but a giant that was not normal proportioned to humanity. And there's hieroglyphs of different sizes of beings.
Yeah.
You have humans as one size, and you have different depictions of giants and others wearing masks and having different faces.
Yeah.
Could this have been a bigger humans? Could this be a bigger humans? Or was there depictions just to show hierarchy? We don't know.
Yeah.
But when we look in Egypt, the Abydos temple carvings. Some say that these were hieroglyphs that were made out to be not true, and that these hieroglyphs were drawn over, and that they are not actual representations of alien ships. That's fine. But then you look at the Nazca lines in Peru, geometric land art that cannot be explained by just a human carving into to the forest. For what reason?
And also the ones in Peru, if you look at like the Mount Machu Picchu, if you look at some of the rock formations, you know how in Egypt you can see like the different rocks that are like symmetrical and everything. In Peru, they actually look like they've been kind of like melted together because they all fit perfectly, and there's no explanation for it.
Interesting.
We're gonna add pictures for everything that we're talking about too.
To continue, we have petroglyphs. These were found in Utah in the Southwest.
Yeah,
It was found to have astronaut-like figures and strange humanoids
yeah,
with helmets or antenna shaped.
yeah.
This was during the time of the indigenous and is said to just be art from their cultures and multiple cultures and their beliefs of sky gods,
Yeah,
and that there are certain gods for different elements that they believed in.
yeah,
However, these depictions seem to be something that is accurate today that is not fathomable to be understood at that time then.
yeah,
What could they have seen that we may not understand?
yeah,
And, you know, there are many depictions of how ancient civilizations encountered those beings and encountered these visitors and how they represented them, with the sky being on fire and space gods and sky gods and things that they cannot really depict with the words that we may use today.
yeah,
So across these continents, across different time periods, we see the same thing. Sky gods, circular objects, giants, encounter with other forces.
yeah.
What do we consider this? We consider this to be that whether or not this is a real conspiracy or that they visited, it's about whether humans across thousands of years of history
Yeah.
have been using different languages to describe the same thing.
Yeah, 100%.
And if that is true for them back then,
Yeah,
then what does that say about the stories we have today with more technology,
Yeah.
having sonar,
Yeah.
having signals,
Yeah.
having radio signals that are being shot to space, where we send messages all the
Yeah.
time, NASA has,
yeah,
where we send a message that we are humans,
yeah,
this is our planet,
yeah,
and that they have received feedback
Yeah.
on those radio channels.
yeah,
What could this mean? We would like to ask you guys
yeah,
to drop a comment on what alien facts you have with any links you have.
yeah.
And I would like to deep dive a little bit more into what scientists do believe at this current moment.
Yeah.
But before I do that, do you have any points?
No, I think pretty much everything that like so I went on the newer route, right? Like from the 1960s and above. But basically what you mentioned is similar stories. It's just that people from that time compared to things that they knew.
Yes.
Like, like obviously if we saw those same things today, we wouldn't say, oh, it's God coming down. We would probably say aliens, right? We would describe them as aliens.
Yes.
So I think the stories line up. It's just the words used to describe them is just similar to what that time and context, right? Like, and it's not a coincidence in my mind because the fact is that this is the same similar story throughout different cultures, throughout different times, throughout history, right? It's not just the Bible that talks about stories of giants. Even in the Quran, there's talks of jinns and everything, right? And same thing with nowadays about aliens and UFOs. I think that there is a similarity that, you just can't ignore anymore.
I like the idea that's been brought up that every idea that's ever been had
Yeah,
is in this box.
yeah,
Every idea you have exists as some metric,
yeah,
right? Because it comes from the idea that there is no unique idea.
yeah,
When you think about people who do DMT, they
Yeah.
all have similar experiences
Yeah.
and what they've seen and
Yeah.
witnessed,
yeah,
whether it be gnomes and dwarves,
yeah.
fairies,
Fairies, yeah,
demons and jinns.
yeah.
All these things seem to line up.
Yeah, and
with
the
the same
fact
thing.
that is like stories from on people that did DMT back in the day, like in the 1800s and stuff, their stories align perfectly with people that did DMT in like scientific studies.
And now,
So that just can't be a coincidence because a lot of the people that they use were people that never done DMT before, didn't know any history about it. So is it just a coincidence that they describe the same exact thing?
and how
Kind of
about
like locking to the same realm?
how about the idea that these same depictions match some of the things that we see in our movies?
Yeah,
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Tinkerbell and the fairies,
Yeah.
dragons,
Yeah.
all these things that
Yeah.
seem to not exist, yet our minds are so creative that we all can think of these same things. Same way, you'll have hieroglyphs of aliens in Egypt,
Yeah.
or the anomalies of building the pyramids, whatever they may be, the formation of the pyramids being so accurate, to then looking at Machu Picchu and going, wow, this kind of mirrors that, but in its
Yeah.
own way. So how come these different worlds that never met have so many similarities?
Yeah.
What could that be for?
Yeah.
So I would like to bring up 2 articles here. The first article is from Cambridge, the Journal of Astrobiology, Evidence and Traces of Extraterrestrial Life. It summarizes existing research about how we may detect life. Meteorites. Scientists study meteorites for amino acids, organic molecules, and possible fossil-like structures. Space probe data, Marver rovers, Venus probes. They look for atmospheric chemistry and water traces. The key idea is that other planets might support life, but no direct organism discovery yet. We have detected anomalies at times, but nothing confirmed at artificial origin.
Yeah.
Civilization's discussion comes in because this is where theories come, speculation comes, but no confirmed observations.
Yeah.
The paper concludes that evidence suggests possibility of extraterrestrial life, but confirmation is still unresolved. There are signs worth investigating, but there's no concrete evidence of alien life.
Yeah. But the point that we want to bring up is that the fact how vast space is, the fact that we think that we're the only ones out there is kind of, how do we put it? Like, in the sense, like, I think we're not that special, right? Like, in the sense, like,
We are special.
we are like we
Me
are
and you,
special.
yeah, we're very
we are
special.
special. Obviously,
Yeah.
somebody's gonna say special ed.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are special, but in the sense, the fact that how vast space is kind of, in this time and age, knowing what we know about science, I think that it's more and more of a given that there is other life out there. Again, that does not mean they're other human beings, because
Well-
we're expecting them to look like us, talk like us, but that's not the reality,
Let's
right?
look at what the scientists say.
Yeah.
So this was a study done by EarthSky. This was a study, and it was a survey on what scientists believe when it comes to aliens and life outside of Earth.
Yeah.
About 86 to 87% of scientists, including astrobiologists, believe simple extraterrestrial life likely exists somewhere in the universe. Scientists are much less certain about intelligent or technological aliens, but there's no direct evidence of extraterrestrial life, but from the meteorites and the understanding that there are certain amino acids that can be found that would promote the idea of the possibility of life, because the same things we need to survive are being found in these meteorites and are the building blocks of what makes us,
Yeah.
that there has to be the idea of that in this vast universe,
Yeah.
there must be microbial life somewhere else statistically.
Yeah.
It is statistically
Yeah.
likely that they do exist.
Yeah, and like you said, there might be places that are million years behind us, so they have the microbial life, but there could be places that are million years ahead of us, where they've advanced to the next phase of being human beings.
And at the same time, no matter what these surveys say,
Yeah.
no matter what the scientists tell us,
Yeah,
we are only going to be dosed very minutely on what the actual truths and facts are.
of course. Yeah,
Right?
Yeah.
And no matter what we believe, I mean, they might think we're kookies or other people are kookies,
Yeah.
but the idea of aliens is not a new idea.
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is that you'll only be deemed correct when the government tells you you are correct.
Yeah, and who knows when that's going to be.
Instead
yeah.
of waiting to be told you are correct, do the research to prove that there actually is some sort of evidence to prove the idea of that. For example,
And
when we talk about the UAP story, the Tic Tac story,
yeah,
when I asked ChatGPT about it, it goes, it was only a unique,
unidentified aerial phenomena,
unidentified phenomenon.
UAP,
It's saying it's an unknown.
yeah,
They cannot confirm it to be
Or deny it.
non-human.
or denied.
They cannot confirm or deny that it's non-human.
Yeah,
One day, the ChatGPT is going to tell us,
that's
oh,
a real thing.
it
yeah.
is real.
Yeah.
One day, the government's going to tell you it is real. Before this story
Yeah.
came out, if you dropped that story,
Yeah.
they may make you go,
Yeah,
You know?
like even Bob Lazar from the 1989s, he was called a kook till this story was confirmed, and then more people started to take his
Yeah.
story perfectly. And the thing that I find Bob Lazar very convincing is because his story has not changed since 1980s. Like, if people are making up stuff, you're like, if you're lying, you always have to keep up with the lie.
Yes.
And like, throughout time, like some facts might change, but he's kept it consistent.
If we can believe,
And from my bad. And from a government's point of view, I get it why they wouldn't want to put this information out there, because
they don't want
obviously
to create panic.
exactly, yeah. So yeah, you
But-
can't just based on just because the government hasn't said it that it's true. That doesn't mean it's not true at all.
If you believe in ghosts,
Yeah.
and jinns, and angels,
Yeah.
why is the idea of an alien so kooky?
Yeah, that's a great point. I was gonna say the same thing. I'm like, if you're a religious person, like even believe in Allah, Jesus, or anybody, all these stories can be easily like if you put those same stories in our timeline, we would consider them aliens. No,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
like
mean,
somebody from a different realm,
when we
somebody
talk
from a different timeline.
When we talk about religion, I remember growing up and always hearing that God is the creator.
Yeah,
But how many did he create? It's a
Yeah.
plural.
Exactly, yeah.
And the book is genuinely a plural.
Yeah.
How many has he created? We don't know.
Yeah.
How vast this universe is? We actually technically still don't know.
still don't know. Yeah, we're
is
finding new.
vast.
Yeah, we keep pushing it more and more every year, with better satellite, better imaging and stuff like that.
And
We've
the,
been pushing
the
it
one thing
further.
I would say is we cannot be so egotistical and selfish to think that we are the only
one.
race out
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
And I mean, we laid out the facts.
yeah,
We told you about the history and the phenomenons,
yeah.
and across time, different mythologies, different beliefs, different religions. We may not have covered it all, but
Yeah.
when you string together a pattern,
Yeah.
an accumulation of the same idea over and over across different time periods and different cultures, different religions,
Yeah.
different continents, when you pair all that together with the idea of the government slowly and surely
Of course.
dosing you and
Yeah.
dosing you, how about instead of waiting for them to tell you it's there or it's wrong, you believe it beforehand with your own research? I don't want to say another reason why I would say that, but it has to do with something that goes into your left or right arm when they find out later on that it's not good for you.
Of course. Yeah.
So I would say
And there's so many other conspiracy theories where in MK Ultra, in the
this is
70s
just
and
case
80s.
file number one.
Yeah, this is just case file number one. There are other conspiracy theories where if you talked about it like 10 years ago, you would have called it kook, but now it's real, right? Now it's confirmed.
But
So I think this goes under the same kind of topic.
how about this? Just for the people out there,
Yeah.
just to be governmentally correct,
Yeah.
we cannot confirm or deny the existence of aliens.
Yeah.
But what we can do is tell you the stories of UAPs, UFOs, hieroglyphs, petroglyphs,
Yeah.
and different stories across time to tell you that there may or may not be non-human entities either in our dimension or in space. And on that note, we will conclude the answer, do aliens exist, up to you in your own interpretation.
Yeah. So definitely put it down in the comments. Any stories that you've heard, like I said, like Ali said, we've barely scratched the surface. This is this file one. We just came out with 5 quick stories right now. There's millions of other stories of people that have gone through similar phenomena and stuff.
And I would say connect to your pineal gland in your third eye.
Now they're definitely gonna think we're kooky.
But look up. Look
Yeah.
at the stars.
Yeah.
Look at the sky.
Yeah.
See what you see.
Yeah.
Put a telescope up there.
Yeah.
Put a radio signal out
Yeah.
there.
And
Put a little voice note for an alien out
Yeah.
there. Drop your Tinder profile out there. See who gets back to you.
not the Tinder profile. I know exactly who's responding to those. Some of them might be aliens.
Shout out ET.
Shout out ET, yeah.
That is it from case file number one
Yeah.
from the 7-3 podcast.
Podcast. Yeah.
We conclude this case file as complete. And we know what our findings are in the end.
Yeah.
And that is the 7-3 podcast cannot confirm or deny our actual allegiance to whether aliens exist. But if you look at our tinfoil hats, I think you may have the answer already.
Yeah. And plus, like Ali said, we're just putting the evidence out there. These are stories that are confirmed. We're not making anything up. And yeah, you guys make your own conclusion and put it down in the comments. Like always, like, comment, and subscribe.
And block your EMFs.
Yes.
Tinfoil Hat Army.
Peace out.
7-3 Twilight Zone.
Episode 1 concluded.
I'm connecting through you through the camera. I can feel you right now. Your energy is uplifting. Goodbye.
Goodbye.